Y'all like that beat?
Yeah, but that could be a tough situation. Well, when it happens in basketball, everybody's like, "Oh no."
I can jump on the. I'm not.
Well, last night.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Fish, how we lose somebody in the middle of the opening credits?
I don't know. I look, he must have just been wait, he's back.
He's
Sorry
back.
about that. Hello, people.
What's up?
What's
We
happening,
was
y'all?
talking about how we just lost somebody in the middle of the opening credits. Just
Yeah, I'm cool. What's happening, y'all?
automatically just zoomed out, and it was we already down 2, and then as soon as it pops on, the people see my face and they see Fish's face, and they probably wonder, well, where everybody at?
Technology, technology.
And the bad part about it is you got today's topic of discussion.
I know.
So I mean,
that's why. Look. That's why I had to get on fast. I was like, let me get back on.
You got to be here. Well, welcome to another edition of the Man Experience. As always, my name is Desmond Mosby. I got 2 of my brothers here with me. Fellas, say what's up.
What's happening?
Hey.
Hopefully, our brothers Fernando and Blake will be joining here soon. I hate that it's 2:30. I shared with you all that we will be on live at 2 p.m. We probably lost some people that was waiting for us. Fellas, I need y'all to be on time, okay? Blake, Fernando, y'all need to be on time. But anyway, hopefully they'll join in. They'll join with us. My boy Fish is always on time, so I appreciate that. Hopefully they'll join in with us so we can get the cracking with Jamal. You were late today. Hopefully
202.
That's late. That is late.
I thought I beat Fish.
No, you didn't beat Fish. That is late. If I'm posting that we starting at 2 p.m., that we going live at 2 p.m. and you come on at 2:02, that is late.
I
love you, my brother.
I thought I beat Fish.
But that's late. Fish was on and popping, ready to go. But we welcome you again to another edition of the Man Experience. After today's episode, we will have 3 episodes left in this season. So we are getting close to the end of this season, and we'll be collaborating, getting together, hopefully here soon to talk about what next season is going to look like. Hopefully I can get these fellas on here at a reasonable amount of time so we can get started and get people out of here soon. But today's episode is entitled The Original Kings of Sequels. Jamon has today's question, and he wants to talk about what the best movie sequels are. So we're going to get into it. It's a little lighthearted episode today. You've known us for some lighthearted discussions, and this is no different. We'll be talking about what our favorite or what we think are the best movie sequels. I have 3 that I'm going to pop off. I hope y'all like them. They're probably pretty standard, probably pretty boring as well. But we're going to get into some good conversations around the original kings of sequels. But before we do that, we always have to make sure that we do our week in review. And there's been a lot going on since the last time we've seen each other. And fellas, basically, I'm just going to run through what's happened. And at the end, I'll ask you all for anything that you want to comment on or anything that maybe I miss. So are we ready for our weekend review?
Do it.
All right. First things first, this man right here, Mr. Pat Sajak, who has hosted the syndicated game show Wheel of Fortune for more than 40 years, actually recently announced on Twitter that he will be leaving the show next year. This broke my heart, y'all. I ain't gonna even lie to y'all. I am a big Wheel of Fortune fan, big Pat Sajak fan. So I don't know if I'll be watching this show after he steps down, kind of like I did with The Price is Right. I wasn't really feeling Drew Carey. I like Drew Carey, but I wasn't feeling
Yeah.
him in that role. But yeah, so we'll see how this plays out. I know I just read somewhere that Vanna White is actually planning on staying on, but that she also recently, I think, asked for a raise. So we'll see. Maybe Vanna needs to be the host. What y'all think about that?
I was about to say, I think that would kind of, keep the show afloat and alive by making her the host. Obviously, you
Absolutely. I
can't
think
replace
people,
Pat Sajak.
if anything, if nothing else, she does have to at least stay. If she's not the host,
How old is Pat?
70 something, like 75 or 76.
somewhere around there.
And Vanna White is mid 60s, I think.
Are you asking that question for a specific reason, Jamon?
No. I just wondered because I was trying to figure out how old Barker was when he left Price is Right.
I feel like that's a good question. We might have to do some research into that. I'm gonna have you look into it, and maybe you can announce what that was on the next episode.
Because I didn't, yeah. Because everybody's tenure with these game shows is just running and running its course, and they're staying as long as they can. But like Alex Trebek, he was 70, but he passed untimely. But everybody just running their full course with these game shows.
But look at Jeopardy, though. Look at the ratings. The ratings haven't been the same.
I haven't even watched Jeopardy.
Yeah, I haven't either. Or like, what are the ratings too? I'm curious to see when Drew Carey took over.
Well, I think that they dropped since you got Ken Jennings that took over that. I think they've dropped a little bit, but the one that surprised me is that the stand steady and it's rising a little bit is Family Feud with Steve Harvey.
And I guess that's because they seemingly picked the right person, I guess, for that particular job. And in addition to that, Family Feud has had several hosts over the course of its time being out, right? Like Family Feud hasn't had a consistent host that's been there for like 40 years, right?
I've been alive. I've known at least 4 of them.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've become accustomed to like Pat Sajak and Alex Trebek and such being the host of these TV shows. When it was Family Feud, obviously, I remember Louis Armstrong.
Louis Anderson.
Not Louis Anderson. My bad. I'm talking about Satchmo. Louis Anderson.
That'd be interesting. Louis Armstrong to be the host. Though. That'd be interesting.
Could you see that? What is
the answer?
You had Al from Home Improvement too.
You sure enough did. I forgot about him.
But you have all these recycled hosts, and I feel with Steve Harvey, he's the one that's made Family Feud. The other 3 hosts haven't because or 2 or 3 or however many hosts they've had before Steve Harvey because of the short tenure and the ratings.
They were seemingly swapping him in and swapping him out. This is going to be a difficult one to follow up with. Pat Sajak he's a household staple, a household name, and I feel like this is going to be somebody that you're not going to be able to easily replace. Yeah. There's my brother Fernando. What's up, Nando? The truth. Y'all like my headline, Nando? I made this one specifically for you. Pusha T is going to introduce us to Jim Jones's child that we don't currently know about. Just saying. For you, those of you that don't know, Pusha T and Jim Jones are going at heated words right now. We'll see how this transpires. The next thing up, though, is Victor Wembly went number 1. This is not surprising. Victor Wembly went number 1 in the NBA draft to the San Antonio Spurs. My brother Fish and I were actually talking about Victor prior to coming on today's episode. I think the kid is skinny. But that doesn't take away from the skill set. He could certainly do phenomenal and be phenomenal. I just think he needs to gain a little weight. Something that I say about myself all the time as well. So don't hate me for saying that. But I do think he needs to just gain a little weight for the sake of the position he plays and some of the cats that he will come in contact with.
You and I were talking about him, and can you just imagine him trying to defend Draymond Green in the post? Or somebody, yeah, exactly. So, and I was saying too, last year Oklahoma City drafted Chet Holmgren, and he was a guy out of Gonzaga. I think he was either second or third overall. Well, he didn't play all season, and he's got the same type of build as Victor does. So, I mean, he's got the talent, obviously. He's got the attributes, but he needs to put on some weight, especially like you said, with the position that he's playing and the guys he's going to match up with.
Yeah.
Otherwise he's going to get pushed around. But he's 19? So
19 years old. Time. 19 years old. I saw my brother Nando nodding his head. That looked like you was agreeing.
Yeah, he's undersized for sure. And like Fish said, I'm not going to repeat it all, but everything Fish said is spot on. I mean, you could just look at him and compare him to anybody else in the league at that position. Even someone who doesn't watch basketball is going to say the same thing.
Yeah. Like I would be scared for him to be my center. I just feel like you're going to get cracked in half. Somebody's going to fold you.
I know that the NBA in a lot of ways isn't as physical as it was like when we grew up in the 80s and 90s, but it's still a pretty physical position, and he's going to have to put some size on to compete at the level that I assume they want him to compete at.
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially at that team, right? Yeah, we have your Tim Duncans, we have your David Robinsons, we have kind of these big intimidating bigs. So we'll see. All right, so next up, it's been a while since you all seen us, so I had to post this. The Denver Nuggets are your 2023 NBA champions. Joker received Finals MVP accolades. They beat the Miami Heat in a must-win Game 5 on that Monday, because the last time we actually recorded was the day before this last game. And so they came out on top. One, are they repeating next year?
Oh, jeez.
I can't answer that.
listen. With who Nando's team just picked up, I don't know.
Which I personally think that was a mistake.
You said what, Jamal?
I personally think Chris Paul coming was a mistake. I mean, they should have kept Jordan Poole was up and coming, man. And I hate to see Poole leave, to be honest with you.
Well, I agree with you. I would rather have Poole than CP3 at this stage.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was because of his skills.
Because how young he is, too. I want to keep somebody younger than him. I mean, CP is getting up there, though.
Oh, yeah. I think he's like 37, 38.
38, I think. Yeah, so, he's not getting any. He's no spring chicken anymore. That's what thing.
So I heard rumors too. I don't know how valid these are, but
Draymond?
They're also trying to Klay Thompson traded.
Oh, I haven't heard
that. I heard that too.
To who?
So we don't know yet to who, but he's been mentioned in trade circles and trade bubbles. Klay Thompson has. So
it could be complete BS, but that's something I heard too.
Yeah.
I was the first one to break the news to Fernando that they got CP3.
I'm shocked. I remember we talked about this the last show, kind of where he would land.
We did,
and I was going to say the Bulls, because the Bulls need a point guard, because Lonzo Ball is.
Yeah, you and I both said that it was not possible that he was going to the Warriors. Like, he's not going, because even then they were talking about the possibility, and you and I both said, nope, not happening. There are other teams that possibly need him, really, really need him, like the Bulls, who are now saying, who are not only saying that Lonzo is going to be out the entire season, but I read somewhere that somebody is suggesting he should retire.
Yep.
So I hadn't heard that.
That he should retire? Yeah. So I mean, I I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. This is going to be an interesting NBA year, but definitely enough of the NBA. We're getting excited, obviously, for the NFL coming back. So hopefully, obviously, by the time we start next season, the NFL will probably have been started. So we'll be trash talking each other definitely during that time. My brother Nando has already started with the 49ers.
We have a regular season game.
just look at the smiling already. You already know where he gonna stay and what he gonna do. So hopefully my Cowboys. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Nando. Right, a bag of them. I just pull one out. I got them ready. It's just like, what hate am I bringing today for Jamon and Desmond?
like a bag of Lay's chips. Just crunch them.
Hey, my dad brought it.
Until I see what we get by the time of our 5th grade, do I even start talking trash?
Do you do know that Mike McCarthy is going to be the signal? He's going to be calling the plays this year.
Which I still don't know how I feel about that, but I don't know.
Fish is laughing.
Fish
is laughing at us because I say that.
Because I tell Fish, I know that if you're a Dallas fan, you basically know how the season's going to go for the Eagles start.
No, you don't. No. You and I, as Dallas fans, know how the season is going to go for the season. The rest of the Dallas fans don't. That's why they hate Dallas fans, because Dallas fans are always talking all that smack. Y'all know me, Fish and Nando. Y'all know me. Y'all give me crap, but I don't never really return it back to y'all like that. Like, I don't be like, nah.
I never do. That's why they talk about Dallas and I don't say nothing. I'm just being like.
To be fair, y'all haven't beaten us yet since I started this, so
he
we don't know.
I'm gonna shut up about the. I'm gonna shut up about the NFL and move to my next slide. Did y'all see this?
Yeah.
Did y'all see this? Floyd Mayweather and John Gotti III, son of my boss John Gotti. Is that correct?
I don't know.
Or grandson.
I never saw that. Yeah.
Related. So Floyd Mayweather and John Gotti III had an exhibition match in which things got a little out of hand. Gotti has actually been suspended for 6 months after a melee kicked off that got Floyd's team involved. So as you can see right here, this is actually Gotti III right here. This is Floyd. And you can see them money team shirts. They didn't came in. What essentially happened was, I think the match had stopped. Correct me if I'm wrong, Nando.
The ref had called the fight.
Ref called the fight, but Gotti got in a shot. And
basically pushed the ref away and was just like, let's just keep fighting.
Yeah. So the money team rushes the ring at that point. Floyd stepped back. Floyd knew what he was doing. I'm gonna step back. I ain't gonna do nothing. But this did happen, and it's very interesting because somebody mentioned, if I'm not mistaken, Charlemagne the God, who is a popular radio host, mentioned that Floyd could possibly be in a ring with somebody one day that really want to hurt him, like that has no rules or no boundaries in their head, and maybe really wants to really do some damage to him.
I don't know if you watch the video though, Floyd, even at his age, is still fast. He rocked Gotti after.
Oh, he did. You're absolutely right.
Even after he pushed the ref out of the way, he gave it to Gotti.
You absolutely right. I will not disagree with you on that. I guess to Charlemagne's point, like you could get somebody in there who at a given point is just like, I don't even care, throw the gloves off, and I just want to just do whatever at that point. So
it's certainly possible. He's fast still, though. That's my point. Like,
yeah, man.
I've said this for, over a decade now, maybe 1.5. I'm dating myself, but Floyd is a terrible fighter, a phenomenal boxer, and he's proven it time and time again. I could go on for hours about how he's picked spots in his career to choose the fights he has. Like Pacquiao happened way late, but he is an amazing boxer, maybe the best ever.
hold on. If you know what boxing is all about,
Right.
that's
Right.
that's
There's
the
fighter
other
in,
piece.
in boxing. There's fighters and there's boxers. He's hands down probably the best boxer that ever lived.
He is meticulous. He is a chess player.
Yeah.
When it comes to boxing. So
If you wanna see him in I think peak Floyd is when he fought. There's a fighter from the UK called Ricky Hatton, and
yeah.
if you watch the Ricky Hatton fight, you'll see the entire time he's just setting Hatton up to hit. He knocks Hatton out. I think it was the eighth, and it was just he set him up from start to finish to end the fight just like it did. Yeah, he's a chess player.
He is.
Yeah, I'll talk forever about boxing, so I'll shut.
Well, no, because I mean that's my next point as well. Probably speaking of fights, we are certainly excited for this one. Probably the biggest fight in the last decade. But I could argue. People have been waiting for this particular fight for quite some time, and we're finally getting it. Where we'll have the unified WBC, WBA, and IBF welterweight champion Earl the Truth Spence Jr., who's taking on the WBO 147-pound world champion Terrence Bud Crawford in Las Vegas on July 29th. I would still argue this is probably the most anticipated fight in a while. These two, I feel are going to put on a clinic. And I'm excited, and I hope I get to go to Fernando's house. Fernando, I know I'm taking Bud, and I know you're taking Spence. At this point, I don't care who wins. I just know that it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, it has the markings. I don't know if y'all remember when Canelo fought Triple G. It has that hype level.
Yes.
The weight class that they fight at too is, in my opinion, some of the most exciting boxing you'll ever watch. It should be an all-out war. And the best thing about it is, a lot of people may not know this, is they both have clauses in their contracts, in this contract, that the rematch has to happen if one of them loses, which, it's likely. The rematch has to happen before 2023 ends. So unless there's a draw, we could see 2 fights by the time the year closes out.
No, we still on at your house for this?
Oh, yep. It's still the plan. I got to get everything together and figure it out. That is the plan as of right now.
Fish and Blake, that means, I know Blake's not on, but Fish and Blake, that means y'all got to come in town. We got to watch this together. All right?
Yeah.
Jamal,
let's try to make it happen.
This is going to be big. I'm excited. All right. So this guy right here, we talked about a lot, has been suspended. Ja Morant has been suspended for 25 games without pay to start the 2023-2024 NBA season after a league investigation found that he posed with a gun in a video streamed on social media for the second time in just over 2 months. Any thoughts, opinions here?
I think Blake said it best last time.
I don't think there's anything else we can say.
Yeah,
you hang out, like Blake said, you hang out with the wrong crew. You got to have somebody watching out for you.
You most certainly do. Does anybody feel like 25 games was too much?
No, I just hope he learns his lesson.
Yeah,
I hope he does too. I think,
certainly hope. I don't want him to stop playing, or I don't think a full suspension is good, but I think 25 games is pretty. Should set a message to him, saying that you have something good going on. Don't screw it up.
Yeah. It's equivalent to roughly 5 or 6 games in the NFL, right? It's around the same amount. So it's not a whole season, but enough to send a message, right?
Yeah.
And hopefully he pulls it together.
Well, has he lost his sponsorships?
I don't think so.
I haven't heard that.
Okay, well, at least, yeah.
And honestly, in my opinion, he shouldn't, unless it's in the contract, right? And this is the whole thing about this. It's in his contract. There's not a morality clause. What do they call it? Conduct clause, right?
Yeah.
And it spells everything out. And
And he signed his name on that dotted
Right.
line.
Right. It's. I could go on and on about how stupid I think some of the rules are in the NBA, NFL, but at
Because
the end of
there
the
are
day,
some.
yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
no.
No, you're right. You're right. At
There
the end of
are
the day,
some.
you
He
know the
signed the
rules
contract.
explained to you. You know
Yeah.
they have mentors too for a reason. Maybe he needs another one.
Lil Wayne. I'm just playing.
I want to say this too before we move on is that whoever would have thought that RJ Barrett was going to be the best pick out of all the top 3 in that draft.
Yeah.
Because number 1 is Zion in that same draft.
Yep. All right. Ray Lewis III, son of Baltimore Ravens legend Ray Lewis, passed away from an apparent overdose on June the 15th. He was 28 years old. So certainly our condolences goes out to Ray Lewis family, Ray Lewis, and anybody who was associated with Ray Lewis III. Did you all see this story? All right, so there were 5 people, including a Harvard Medical School morgue manager, who are now facing, and certainly this was a couple of weeks ago, but they're now facing federal charges after allegedly conspiring to steal and sell body parts from donated cadavers.
No, I didn't see that.
I did see the story. I didn't even take the time to read.
That was probably really, Nando, as much as I read about the story, but it caught my eye because I was like, what the world? Like, what is y'all doing? Like, and the professor, I mean, the morgue manager, like, what are you doing? You know? In other news, I-95 bridge collapses basically on Sunday, June 11th. A tanker truck carrying gasoline burst into flames. Beneath it, it is currently operating temporary lanes, and they are working on a permanent fix. But yeah, man,
Can you imagine this happening in 95, like somewhere in like DC?
Oh, man.
A truck ran off the side of the road off a bridge in Chesapeake Bay Tunnel.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he passed away, too. It's unfortunate, man, everything that's happened in the last 2 weeks. We got this going on. A boat carrying migrants capsized and sank near Greece in the Mediterranean Sea on Wednesday, June 14th. Despite a rescue mission that saved over 100 people, there more than 80 have died that they know of, but an estimated 500 more people are missing and feared to be dead. So while everything was going on with our next story, this had actually happened too, and didn't necessarily get a lot of media attention. And then finally, probably the biggest thing of the last week, Ocean Gate submersible, which was on its way to see the Titanic as it rests on the ocean floor 370 nautical miles southeast off the coast of Newfoundland and 12,500 feet deep, actually imploded, taking the lives of the 5 crew members, one of which included the creator and CEO of this particular submersible, as well as a father and son, and some other individuals. So certainly our condolences go out to all of those families. I will say this. I have no intentions of ever going to see the Titanic for any reason whatsoever. Seeing the images is enough for me.
Yeah.
It's enough for me.
The thing that's making me sick right now is the jokes that they're making about this thing. They're putting different memes up on there. With there's one that shows Randy Orton RKOing the submarine. They're showing just different horrible jokes about it right now. And it's terrible because that's a way to go for your submarine imploding, and I just feel bad for the families of these victims here.
Yeah.
I think the only thing that could be said is that they didn't feel obviously what happened, that it happened in a matter of a millisecond. So there's
Yeah, if there's one positive about the situation, that's it, right? Because
yeah,
the alternative of how they could have died or passed away is, to me, sounds like one of the worst things or the
absolutely.
worst
Ab-
ways to ever.
Yep.
Absolutely. 12,500 feet below sea level, dark, cold, uh could have been their fate. Vomiting, hallucinations, dizziness.
Yeah.
The space was what, 20 feet, so they were only able to really sit down. They couldn't stand up or walk around, anything of that nature. Um, so
Yeah,
yes,
you mentioned the pressure too, like in their head.
the pre-
Yeah.
the pressure, all of those pieces. I will say this: the frustrating thing to me has kind of been, and I don't, and I'm not saying this to speak ill of the dead or anything of that nature. I think the frustrating thing to me is to kind of go back and see some of the videos of the CEO, and some of the safety concerns, I guess, that people had regarding this particular craft, and kind of some of his responses. And I might be taking them out of context, but I know for me, some of his responses just kind of came off as, man,
Yeah.
like, ugh.
I'm sure
um,
we'll find out more, as it goes on.
oh, absolutely,
Um, but it's
absolutely. And the thing that probably broke my
Yeah.
heart the most. I'm sorry for cutting you off, Nando, but I think the thing that broke my heart the most was you find out afterwards that the son didn't want to go. And the
Yeah.
only reason that he went was because of the fact that it was Father's Day, and he wanted to go with his father. So that really kind of broke my heart, because of that. So that's all I'll say. Nando, you wanted to say something to it?
Oh, no, no, no. I was just saying we'll basically know more about the security concerns and things like that, or safety concerns, excuse me. Um, I'm sure we'll find out more as it comes along. There's
Absolutely.
tons of misinformation, it seems like right now.
Absolutely.
Um, one thing I can say for sure is everything I've heard, it doesn't sound like it should have been doing this to begin with.
Yeah, yeah. From everything that they're saying, they're initially saying, you're absolutely right. From everything that they're initially saying, this should not have been down. And I get that it's been down 3 times before, I believe it was, but yeah, maybe this should have been something that was, you know, thought longer, and
Yeah.
and real money put into it, simply because I've heard, like, he mentioned that NASA had helped him, and then NASA came out and said, we didn't, not NASA, Boeing. He had mentioned that Boeing had helped him on kind of this design, and Boeing actually came out after everything was said and done and said, no, we didn't. So yeah, we'll see how everything plays out, but condolences certainly to the families and everybody that were involved in this terrible, tragic situation. All right, so moving on. As I mentioned, today's episode is entitled King, the Original Kings of Sequels, and I'll pass it over to my brother Jamon for today's question.
All right. So we all have movies that we've seen and that we've, we have our favorite movies. But these movies have sometimes spun off sequels, a part 2, a part 3, a part 4, things like that. My question to you today was, what are some of your best movie sequels of all time? I personally have 2. And we can go on with this topic all day, but so I'm trying to keep it limited to like 2 or 3 of your favorites. And I'm start with you, Desmond.
Okay, so I didn't think long and hard about this one, because this is a pretty obvious answer for me. 2 of them are probably known as the greatest sequels of all time. You put them in the greatest sequels of all time list. So they're my pretty boring standard answers.
Yeah, I was wondering if we were going to come up with a couple of the same answers.
It's very possible that it might be. So I'm going with The Godfather Part 2. And I'm also going with because I am a Star Wars fan, I'm going with The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
As two of my all-time favorites. De Niro and Pacino together, to me, just always seemingly equals success. I love that movie, and there's nothing else that I can say about it. The Empire Strikes Back gives us the classic line, Luke, I am your father. That's not what he says, though. What does he say? No, what does he say?
I think he says, no, I'm your father, or something like that. I can't
Something
remember.
Like that. We've always said it wrong for years. But it gives us that classic line, and it's such a classic movie. I will say my third might somebody else might say this, but I'll say my third is The Dark Knight. Next to Batman Begins, I think The Dark Knight is such a gritty, dark movie, and Heath Ledger as the Joker is phenomenally better than I can remember. The villain in Batman Begins was Scarecrow. Yeah, and I just love The Dark Knight. So those are my three picks: Dark Knight, Godfather Part 2, and The Empire Strikes Back.
Which is one thing that I think is funny is I thought that Batman Begins, the Scarecrow, I thought his portrayal of the Scarecrow and him as a villain was great. And then Dark Knight comes along and it's just like Heath Ledger just.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything from the portrayal of the Scarecrow in that movie. It's just Heath Ledger comes along and really
makes him look like an amateur.
Yeah, takes it to another level.
Yeah.
With his version of the Joker, like memorable lines that like I found myself walking around doing the thing where he's talking. He's, you know how I got these marks on my I sometimes walk around and do those lines because he was so memorable in that role. I mean, he gave his life for that role, unfortunately. So those are my three. And Jamon, I feel like I know one of your answers, and I feel like are those three your answers, Jamon?
They are not, but
okay.
I do, you know, after seeing The Flash and Michael Keaton make his return, I understand about The Dark Knight. My favorite was always the original with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. I just think that was done brilliantly. But
that's not a sequel, though.
I know it's not a sequel. I'm just saying, though.
I think he's adding. I think that Keaton's Batman is amazing. His Bruce Wayne is god awful.
Yeah,
we had this conversation before. Like, to me, it's two separate roles.
I agree.
It's kind of like the same with Spider-Man. Like each one of them has either been a better Peter Parker or a better Spider-Man, but not necessarily the combination of both. Yeah, Keaton was phenomenal as Batman. He just wasn't necessarily believable as Bruce Wayne as maybe
I agree.
Christian Bale was, or
Christian Bale, in my opinion, is the worst Batman. Even worse than
George Clooney.
Even Clooney. I was gonna say his name.
Wow,
I gotta go against that. I'm sorry about that.
Taking it far then. Man,
Clooney to me was the worst Batman and the worst Bruce Wayne.
I agreed with that. I totally agree with that. Totally agree.
And I'm not gonna lie, y'all will probably shoot me down for this, but to me, the best Bruce Wayne was Val Kilmer.
See, I think Christian Bale's
I'll be hating on for that. I'll die on that mountain.
Yeah.
What I would
Hey.
like, I just had this conversation with a friend maybe a week ago. I would have liked to have seen Pattinson's Batman with Ledger's Joker. I
Ooh,
think that
yeah.
combination would have been absolutely
That would've been
phenomenal.
good.
Like I think you would have seen a moral struggle where Pattinson actually agrees with Joker and just disagrees with how he goes about executing his method.
Adam West as Bruce Wayne.
Especially Adam West as Bruce Wayne.
Classic.
Yeah.
Not as Batman though with his stupid costume on. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I know that nylon fit. Yeah.
With the black right here.
We could have a whole conversation about Batman, a whole episode about Batman movies, I'm sure.
We sure enough could. We
And I'll
probably
host it. I'll host it.
All right,
well, Desmond, since you was trying to guess mine, I guess I'll go.
Yeah, I'm curious now.
I'll be honest with you. I think one of my favorites was Superman 2, Christopher Reeve. I think that was all-time best one. Number 1 was good because they showed how he started. Number 3 was because I had Richard Pryor in it, so it was kind of funny.
Which one is the one where he throws the S off his chest?
I think that's number 2. That's number 2 because he threw it at whatever his name is, not Zod. What is the one that had the mental problem?
I didn't necessarily pick up on
threw
that.
He threw it. Anyway, 3, Richard Pryor, kind of funny. 4 was just stupid, fighting that lightning guy. So I just like 2 because of I just don't think you could get a better plot than all 3 of them coming back to destroy him, and it was just beautifully done. So,
I will say 2 has like one of the worst movie lines I've ever heard in my life. When he goes back to that guy at the cafe or whatever, and he's like, "That's funny. I've never seen garbage eat garbage before." So that's one of the worst lines I've ever heard.
But look.
And again, when he throws the S off his chest.
Right.
Yeah.
I never knew Superman could do that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, where did that come from?
I don't think anybody knew that.
I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't know that was one of his powers. All right, my second one, you might like this, Desmond, is Bad Boys 2.
I don't like that.
What?
I don't like. I don't see, and that was why I was going to say that I knew what one of yours was because
I like the bad guy actor. I like the bad guy
because of the simple fact that I have this conversation with people all the time, and I'm always the social outcast when it comes to this because most people prefer Bad Boys 2. I prefer Bad Boys 1. Because to me, Bad Boys 1 was the darker of the 2. I remember more lines from that particular movie. I saw that in theaters. When I saw 2, I was like, this is good, but I will watch 1 all day and quote every line from 1. From the opening car scene to the end. Like we ain't going to Denny's anyway. I don't like the way we've been treated. Like every line from that movie to me hits. What Martin goes up against a dude and he's like, "Oh, that was cold." And he's like, "Yeah, so was your mama's bed." Just line after line in that movie. The second one don't hit line after line with me, but this is your list, so I just wanted to make that argument.
Hey, valid argument. Number 3 for me was Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Oh, that was mine. Damn.
I'm sorry, bitch. That just came on too, maybe on Thursday, and I watched it from beginning to end.
The classic lines.
Definitely.
Oh man,
Hasta la vista, baby. Yeah.
Hey, but look, Call to John.
Yes.
And that's certainly not taking anything away from 1, the first one.
No.
But Judgment Day was
Yeah, Judgment Day. That's the. What's that?
Go ahead.
I just said the guy that played the metal guy, Patrick, whatever his last name is. Anyway, I think he played that role great. I just think that he was
the seriousness in his expressions.
Right, just never flinched at all. Just never
at all.
And never even worried about Arnold. And at the very last part where they were just going back and forth, I got to the end of it be like, what can kill this guy? What can kill this guy other than what they did to him, pushed him in that vat of stuff? But it's like, I got to the point when I first saw it, I was like, I don't even know how this is going to end, because if nitroglycerin froze this guy and then they shot him, he burst into pieces. I don't know now. I don't know. But and if I could segue real quick, one of the worst sequels is Blues Brothers 2000. Horrible. If you are a Blues Brother, I mean, you can do the beginning to the end of Bad Boys. I can do the beginning and the end of Blues Brothers. More John Belushi in it. I can do the beginning and the end of that. But when they made Blues Brothers 2000 with the guy from Roseanne, whatever his name is, and
Dan Aykroyd.
No, the guy from Roseanne, the husband that played Roseanne, John Goodman. Goodman. I couldn't, and then they put that little boy in the car too, and had him be part of it. I couldn't deal with it. But those are my three. So I will go to Mr. Fish. Go ahead.
You didn't tell us we could pick one that was the worst.
I know. Look, I was saying that because I started thinking about it, and that's why I said I'm just going to segue real quick. I'm not going to start discussing why it's bad. I just want to throw that in. So that's not the topic, but I just want to throw that in. All right, Fish, what's up?
All right, so I had two. All right, and you mentioned one with Terminator 2, Judgment Day. And I've seen that. I saw that several times even before seeing Terminator 1. I just remember as a kid.
Yeah,
that was
one thing.
Yeah.
I saw Terminator 2 before I saw Terminator.
Yeah, that was one of the ones where I just remember seeing that way before ever seeing Terminator 1. But, we just went over a lot of memorable lines, story, plot, arguably made, at least introduced me as a kid to Arnold, because, Arnold was very iconic. Everybody wanted to be like Arnold. He was a stud at that time. So to me, that was
Get to the chopper.
Memorable. Yes. So I had to think long and hard on my second one, and this is actually the third series in it. But I think this movie was better than the first two that came out, and that is Christmas Vacation.
I thought you were going to say Bad Boys 3.
No.
So better than European Vacation and all
I feel that a lot of people watch Christmas Vacation as
it's
like
an all-time
a
favorite for me.
tradition. Yeah,
All-time favorite for me.
for Christmas. They have a lot of memorable lines. I personally think like Eddie is funnier in Christmas Vacation than the other two. But yeah, that movie really like stuck out to me after watching not only just European Vacation, but Vacation itself. I feel that movie gets a lot more cracks and laughs than the other two.
Chevy Chase has always been one of my favorite actors.
Yeah.
Chevy
Yeah, I love Chevy Chase.
Always been one of my favorite actors.
And then I liked Ocean's. For some reason, I liked Ocean's 12 better than Ocean's 11. But I probably say that like at least those two, meaning that Terminator 2 and Christmas Vacation would be my top two. Like Christmas, at least I think that those were better than the original.
Good picks, man. Very good picks.
Yeah.
All right, Nando, you got the flow.
So, my first one is Terminator 2. There's nothing I can really say that y'all haven't heard, but I do have a funny story about Terminator 2, and my mom is probably gonna hate me for this. So, we had a movie theater, a drive-in movie theater that we would go to, and they had double features, and we wanted to see as kids Terminator 2, and mom was like, okay, we'll go see it at the drive-in. And the first movie that was playing, she wanted to see. So we get there, and I think I was maybe 11 or 12 at the time. We get there, and we're excited to see Terminator 2. The first movie that plays is, like I said, the movie she wants to see, and that movie is Boys in the Hood.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
we watched Boys in the Hood, finally, Terminator 2 is about to start. It's getting really late. Y'all really need to go to bed. So we're gonna have to watch Terminator 2 another day.
Wow.
Look, for that, I can't really argue about that because I mean, Boys in the Hood, she picked a good one.
That's a
It is.
She picked a good one.
I'm not sure that my brothers were old enough to watch.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Look,
I was 11 or 12. I was 11 or 12, and they're all younger than me.
How'd you feel walking out the theater after watching that at 11?
So it was a drive-in, and
how did you feel after driving out of that?
I don't see. The only thing I remember is being so disappointed about not getting to finish or not getting to watch Terminator 2. So I really don't remember.
Desmond, I thought he was gonna be like the part where Ricky.
Yeah. I would say my second one is probably
You drive stick.
What's that?
No, I was just saying the line the girl said in the movie. I'm sorry.
Honestly, The Dark Knight, like those were my go-tos for sequels. I don't have anything to add with The Dark Knight. You know, I hated Bale, loved Ledger. My third one is gonna be Kill Bill Volume 2.
Ooh,
very good.
Absolutely love it.
Very
Absolutely love Volume 2.
Oh my gosh, and much better than man.
I don't even remember one.
But Volume 1, I'm not gonna lie. When that house scene where she fought what's her name in the kitchen?
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts right there. They were just all cool. Then all of a sudden,
yeah,
they started fighting in the kitchen. I have to give it to that part. But
did you see the name? Did you notice the name of the cereal that had the gun in it?
What was it?
It was like Bangos, like Bang, P-A-N-G.
Something that Quentin would do. I agree.
Yeah.
But
Jamal's a big Tarantino fan.
Extremely huge. But I tell you right now, I don't know, man. That part in Kill Bill 2, man, with that snake bit that girl, bit that guy at the very end. That got me.
Oh yeah. With how am I forgetting his name? Bill.
What was that guy that committed suicide? What was his name?
David Carradine.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, bit him in the face. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Very good picks. I love that. Very good.
Yeah, I love that.
Y'all had y'all fetish about Kill Bill too.
And that's another one. I can watch Kill Bill 1 and 2 multiple times.
I've watched them so many times, I can't even count, honestly.
See, that's how I feel about Bad Boys, but not Bad Boys 2.
Bad Boys 2 has one of my favorite lines, and I say it not all the time, but anytime I see a fish, it's like, that's a nice fish. Big eyes, but a nice fish.
Nice fish.
And one of my favorite lines in number one is, you drive as slow as Mrs. Daisy. They're like, yeah, you keep driving, I'm driving us off this cliff. We're gonna be two bees
My
in
wife,
the sea.
right? I'm a bad boy. Bad boys.
What you gonna do?
Gonna do ain't come for you.
Hey,
snap.
Hey, you gotta learn the words, dude.
We only usually do the chorus.
Ooh, that's gonna be something. Hey, Desmond, that might be our next little short.
I gotta be Will, but as I've gotten older, I love Martin's character more in those movies than Will's. Probably one of my favorite lines is when they go up to that in the first one, they go up to that man's house, that dead man's house, and they knock on the door, and he's like, hey, please. He's like, nah, man, you can't be doing that. You got too much bass in your voice. That scare white people. He go, you got to tone it down a little bit. Hey, we your new neighbors. We were just wondering if we can borrow some brown sugar. I love that movie. Line for line, I could go for that. Nando and Fish, are there any ones that I guess you all think are worse sequels? Since Jamon segued into what he thought was one.
Jeez. That I can think of. I will say that, you know, for a series of videos, people have their preferences as well, such as like for James Bond, I grew up playing GoldenEye, so I have more, you know, love for that movie than, you know, like The Man with the Golden Gun or Dr. You know, like Dr. No or like Moonraker. So like, you know, for that,
was Pierce, right?
that was Pierce. I think Die Another Day was Pierce's last one. I think that then what's his name? Daniel Craig took over at Casino Royale.
Yeah, you're right.
For me, terrible sequels. Highlander 2. I don't know if y'all seen that one where it takes place like in the future or whatever. Y'all remember Highlander? There can be only one. Where
I remember Highlander, and I remember the Highlander series as well.
Yeah,
but I don't remember the second movie.
Yes, I'm glad you don't. I think even like the creator was like, just pretend it didn't exist because it was so bad. Watch it. You actually don't. Save yourself the time. It was awful.
I'll have to come watch it with you.
You're gonna watch me fall asleep. This is what's gonna happen.
I mean, I heard like a lot of people were crapping on Jaws, like the sequel to that.
I did hear that, yeah.
And like,
I like Jaws 2. Jaws 2 was my favorite.
Like all the police academies after the original too was another one.
I loved all the Police Academy movies.
Yeah.
I would say probably everything, like the later Freddy's and the later Jason's, especially that Jason. What was it? Jason X.
The space one.
The space one was terrible.
I want to know how somebody was like, can you imagine being in the pitch for that? All right, Jason, but in space, and everybody's like, yeah, that's what's hot in the streets.
They can't like this was the response. They can't run anywhere. Oh, we gotta make it. The movie was terrible,
man. You know, I thought Problem Child 2 was better than the original Problem Child 2. I was just thinking, yeah.
With the little girl?
You got the little girl in there? Yeah. I know.
That I can see that.
Oh, one of my other like comedy sides, Back to the Future 2. I thought that was great.
All right. So can I segue? Back to the Future 3 was god awful to me.
Horrible.
I hate that movie. But yes, Nando, I agree with you. 2 is phenomenal.
I think that 1 and 2 are classics, but I also would not mind if they made a reboot of them.
Okay.
Well, here's something. Have any of you guys like seen? I forgot how many. I've lost track of them. But how many Fast and Furiouses are there now?
10 or 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
I watched Tokyo Drift, and then when they tried to put that one and say, "Oh, this one is a part of this series," I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm not watching this."
Yeah.
The same way, and I think Blake gets mad at me about this. I feel the same way about Saw. How long can this go on?
Yeah.
Like how long can this dude have these heirs that just come along and pick up what? No.
Also, like to go back to Fast and Furious, they're nothing like the first movie or the second one.
No,
not at all.
as a matter of fact, they've gotten to a point now where, like, to Jamon's point, where he was talking about, you know, the distastefulness and everything that happened with the submersible. One of the memes was Dom going because he's going for family to save them, and it's like, come on, man, like because it's gotten to a point that a lot of what's going on in the movies is now not even believable. Like you've gotten away from the original plot, which was street racing. It was literally street racing, and now they're involved in some international. What, Ludacris is in the car in space? What? Come on now, come on.
You know, Jamon, you brought this up, and you and I watched this. You remember? I think what was it, 2 years ago? I thought when it released Mortal Kombat, I thought that was better than the original. I like the whole story behind Sub-Zero.
The recent one?
Yeah,
I thought so too. Like the original, I thought was good just because it was almost so bad that it was good, right?
yeah,
It's got a cult following.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, the remake gave so much substance and background.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
It was exceptionally done, exceptionally made. Even the fighting in it was dope as I don't know what. And they're making a second one, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Excited for that.
I'm looking forward to that sequel.
What was it? I forgot. It was based around, like, who were the main characters? It was Sonya and I think Jax were the main characters originally. The one of 2021.
So it's Jack, Sonya, Johnny Cage,
Kano.
and Kano. I think so.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, like he'll tell you when Jamon comes back on, he will tell you how much he loved that movie better than the previous.
He jamming or something. Jamal, what you want to tell us about how much you loved Mortal Kombat, the recent one? I think he gone, fellas. I think he gone. I know. I feel like I gotta mention Blake's. I think Blake was telling me that he was going to say or pick next Friday. So I just wanted to put that out there because I know he wanted to say something about that particular movie.
I think that movie's good, but I think it's different from
the first one.
Yeah. Like it's not the same type of comedy.
Yeah.
It's more like goofball.
Yeah. And if I'm gonna be completely honest with y'all, and I'll probably get hatred for this too, I prefer the third one over the second one.
Friday after next?
Like I prefer Friday after next over next Friday. So I rank them Friday after next, and then next Friday.
Extra medium.
Huh? You
Extra
said what?
Medium. Ooh, a Dada. I always wanted one of these.
I always wanted one of these.
My favorite part in that whole movie is when he tries to jump through the window and is boarded up and he just like crumples.
Oh man.
They'll never be able to make Friday as good just because they're using Mike Epps and not Chris Tucker. Unless Smokey's involved, it's never going to be as good.
I've heard that they've been talking about for a long time that they want to make one with both Chris and Mike Epps.
Nice.
So we'll see. I will tell you a movie that I'm excited to see once it comes out, Beverly Hills Cop 4. I am a big Axel Foley fan. As a matter of fact, I probably get clowned for liking 1, 2, and 3 because I like 3 too.
I don't think I ever saw 3.
You never saw 3?
I don't think so.
It's the weakest of the 3, obviously. I mean, but I do enjoy it for it being Axel Foley. But I love 1 and 2. Man, I saw 3 before I saw 1 and 2. I saw 3 because 3 came out, I think, in like the late 90s. Saw 3 and then went back and was like, oh my God, I got to see the first 2 of these. And went back and watched 1 and 2 and just immediately fell in love. So I am looking forward to Beverly Hills Cop 4. I am a big Eddie Murphy fan, for those that don't know.
Did you ever watch, what's it with Nick Nolte, 48 Hours?
I did. And then the second one,
Yeah.
another 48 hours.
I love those 2 movies. And it,
Yes.
like, I heard that they hate each other. And so, like, they would absolutely never work together again. But I thought, like, on screen, they were really good.
I never knew that. You done told me something now that I got to investigate.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but I heard they absolutely hate each other.
So there would never be a 3 of that.
Nope, never be a 3 of that one.
I will say I didn't like I didn't like the new Coming to America obviously as much as the original. So just my thoughts. But is there anything else that needs to be said?
Yeah, I felt
or go ahead, Fernando. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I felt like the new Coming to America was like if me and you sat down and wrote something that we just thought would be hilarious to have all these cameos. Like, what would be the best like fan service of Coming to America sequels?
Yeah.
Jamal wants me to mention that it is Michael Jackson's 14-year death anniversary. Shout out to Michael Jackson, Mr. Moonwalker himself, Mr. Thriller. Anything else?
That's it.
I don't think so.
All right. Well, I enjoyed this episode. This is fun. It's a long way from some of the deeper conversations we have. Sometimes we got to sprinkle in, like we got to mix it up for you all. We hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, this is a man experience, so we hope that you come and enjoy and experience, man, as only we know how to share that with you. We will see you in 2 weeks. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Fish, you got the next episode. If I'm not mistaken, it'll be Fish, then my brother Nando, and then I'll close it out. Maybe that closeout episode, maybe it'll be a reunion with Women's World. Who knows? I don't know. That'll be kind of dope. Nando, ask your honey what she think about that.
All right.
I already got the topic, by the way.
You already got your topic?
Yeah.
You want to announce it now? Or?
Yeah. What is your most prized or cherished possession that you have? And I'm gonna tell you why. The other day I was watching my daughter play with. It was a birthday, and we got her a couple presents. And I feel like all kids do this, and you guys know this. But like,
Happy birthday!
Thank you. She's 2. It was driving me, and the poops only get bigger. But as I was saying, maybe your kids do this, but we wrapped all these presents for her. Instead of playing with the actual present, she plays with the damn box.
Yeah.
It's like, and I see that, I'm like, and she plays for a couple days. I'm like, man, this is a nice. She's playing with it like it's your most cherished possession.
I could have literally just bought you a box.
Yeah. Isn't it funny that you can just buy a kid a box instead and just go to whatever? And that'll be the present instead of the actual toy. Yeah.
Absolutely. I listen. I'll tell you this, because we got to a point where, like, my oldest, he doesn't necessarily like a whole lot of stuff. He's got to a point now where it's like money or whatever, right? And so my oldest had got to a point where he didn't want anything. So my wife was kind of like, Tanisha was kind of like, well, this particular Christmas, I want to get him a new iPhone. He had the iPhone 8. I think she was trying to get him the iPhone 12. And this dude was like, but Mom, I don't want that. And she ended up getting it anyway. And it's like, man, we could have saved some money.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. Boxes, box forts, all that kind of stuff, bro. Come on now.
Experiences going forward, I think.
You said what?
Experiences we want to do going forward, like pass to the zoo, children's museum, things like that. Toys just accumulate, as you guys both know. Like, Jesus.
And they break and they're missing parts and get tossed to the side after maybe 3 days. And
And then you gotta find missing parts.
Yep.
Yeah.
Choking hazard. Yep.
In my house, they get vacuumed up, the missing parts too. So just to let y'all know.
Have you guys, by the way, have you guys ever found something that's like, man, I swear I've had it, and it goes missing, and 2 or 3 weeks later it ends up in like somebody else's room in like a dresser or drawer or anything like that, or somewhere in the kitchen. What the hell is it doing here?
Listen, I'm gonna say this, and I'm sure Nando has experienced this as well. But nothing is my own anymore, right? Like my clothes, my oldest son wears those. My daughter at this point, my daughter is wearing my belts. My wife sometimes wears my hoodies. Sometimes somebody's wearing my shoes. So my stuff is not my own anymore.
Nope.
I own nothing that is exclusively mine at this point in my life. But what's good about my son and him wearing my shirts, sometimes I'll wear his.
That is a good point. I like that.
But we will definitely see you all in 2 weeks. As you've already heard, Fish has already picked the topic, and so that's what we'll be talking about on our next episode. Please join us. As always, experience man as only we know how. We will see you all next time. Peace.